Good morning, Guildford. I am outside Waitrose and I am here to speak to Angela Richardson. There has been a lot of focus this week on the school meals being voted against in government this week, and there's been a lot of people in Guildford looking for some answers. A lot of people in Guildford may not know that we live within 2 wards in Guildford that are in the top 10 deprived areas in Surrey, which is incredible really in such an affluent town. So Angela has agreed for me to pop along and just really answer some questions of why she voted against the school meals. And over to Angela. Hi Angela, how are you?
Hi Stu, thanks very much for coming talking to me today. I think it's really important that you've asked on behalf of your audience that you've got on your Facebook page as to why members of the Conservative Party voted as they did earlier this week on the Opposition Day debate. I think, as I put up on my Facebook statement yesterday, at the very bottom I think is the key message I want to bring to the top of this video today, and that is that what concerns me more than opposition tactics is the fact that there could be people out there who are generally struggling to make ends meet, have really difficult circumstances and don't know the measure of support package that has been put in place over the summer for people who are struggling. So I think if we go back in time to when we went into lockdown, we asked schools to stay open for children who were children of key workers, who had an education and care health plan, and who had a social worker. It was really important that those children came to school. But what we found was that many of them didn't actually come into school. And as I rang around and talked to head teachers here in Guildford, they were giving me an update on their numbers and saying that whilst they might have had many in at the beginning, the numbers were dropping off. And so schools had to become hubs. And free school meals normally during term time are a hot, nutritious meal that these children get at school, and that is the absolute best way to deliver that. And this country's been delivering that for over 100 years to children, which is, really important. And because we weren't able to see these children when we went into lockdown, and because schools stayed closed for a long time to the 1st of June, we needed to be able to get food to these children as quickly as possible. So the free school voucher was introduced, and that went out to families, and they could take that to supermarkets. But children over the summer holidays were looked after as well, and we have a big activities program for the children who struggle the most. I think now children, 99.9% of schools are back open. These children are back to school. Their teachers are able to engage with them and make sure that they're being looked after. And at the same time, the welfare system has been improved massively. So we've got £9 billion more has been put into the welfare system. That's for new claimants, but that's also for universal credit, where people have had an uplift of £1,000 a year. But what's really important, not only do schools know their children, but local councils know their children who need the help the most, which is why the government gave an extra £63 million to councils. And you will have seen, if you've been following Marcus Rashford's Twitter page, that he has been tweeting all the councils who are giving support to children this half term. That's because the government gave them the money to do that. That's the absolute right thing to do. They know these children. And so this isn't a case of Tories voting to take food away from hungry children over half term. This is so that we can give support in a much more targeted way to those children who need it. And I think the key message is, if you know somebody who needs help, please put them in touch with me. It's confidential. You can refer them to agencies like Citizens Advice or their local job seeker centre. And we will try and help as much as possible, as I have been helping people throughout the pandemic so far.
Angela, we're standing outside Guildford Action, and as you know, I'm their community fundraiser. We've been inundated by the community with help of free school meals next week. Is there going to be a list through the council or through you where people can get help if needed with food over the school holidays?
I was absolutely delighted to see what Guildford Action had put out in terms of wanting to help, and I think they can work in partnership with the council. The council will have the information that's needed, and if they are able to release that. But I think the difficulty is a lot of these families, nobody knows at school who's got a free school meal, and we don't want people to feel any sort of shame or stigma. If they can come forward, that's great. But their confidentiality needs to be protected as well. So let's do this in the right way. Let's go to the council. If Guildford Action can go to the council, and if there's a way to work in partnership, that's fantastic. Let's do that.
Fantastic, Angela. You're outside Waitrose today. Are you
Outside
encouraging
Waitrose.
people to come and see you today?
Yeah, that would be fantastic
Yeah.
if they want to drop down and say hello. And I'm here till about midday, and we've got a survey to fill out. Just what you think, how you think the government and the local government have done with coronavirus in terms of, the support and help with jobs and also in the healthcare system.
Thank you, Angela. Have a lovely Saturday.
Thanks, Stu.